One of the worst things about the camping four-wheel drive adventure lifestyle is cars. Cars are ridiculously expensive. Today, I'm going to show you how to replace a CV in a Volkswagen Amarok. This CV, as you can see, he's got a bit of a mouth and he spat grease everywhere. It sucks. So I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to put a new one in. I'm doing it myself because Volkswagen charge $1,000 just for the CV. If you want to get another mechanic to do it, they'll charge you well over $1,000 to do it. So I've gone to a wrecker. I picked up two CVs, high Ks unfortunately, but it was off a stock vehicle, so they should be in okay condition. 150 bucks each. I'll show you how to put them in. To start, get your car on a good level surface. Jack it up using the pads here. Put some jack stands under the chassis rails because you do not want that vehicle coming back down on you. Once you've done that, remove the tyre and then we'll get started. I like to use rust off or a rust breaker. Inox at a pinch will do. It just helps free up any rusted or slightly seized bolts before you snap them off with a rattle gun or a spanner. Next, you need to disconnect the brake and ABS lines from any mounts. Disconnect your sway bar. Keep your nuts and bolts together. It's always a handy tip and it's the worst when they get mixed up. Here I'm removing the bolt that connects the strut to the lower control arm. It may take some convincing to come out. Here I've just held down the rattle gun and it slowly pulled itself out. A good tip is to wedge your flathead into the rotor so that you can undo the inner and outer CV bolts without the whole assembly spinning. Here you'll likely need to use the flathead again to crack these spline bolts. Keep in mind when you do this back up, you should use Loctite, and these bolts are technically a single-use product. In this case, I'm rotating the CV and cracking each individual bolt before completely removing them. This one did require a little convincing because it must have had some dirt in it. I've put the spline in and given it a gentle tap to get the spline securely in and not ruin the bolt. Undoing the upper control arm might require an Allen key, which you'll see later. Once the nut is removed, you'll likely need to give it a few love taps to separate the two. This is where things start to get a bit heavy, but the CV is still stuck. I'm going to give it some encouragement with a flathead screwdriver and a soft mallet. I think it's just popped out, so I'm going to put my hands around the back and check. Unfortunately, it's still seized, so one more love tap and out it comes. This might take a bit of manoeuvring. I've got that jack under the lower control arm, dropped its height a little so I can pull the strut out and have the CV drop straight through. That is disgusting, just grease everywhere. And actually, before I clean myself, yeah, you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but just there's a gigantic hole in that boot. Both CVs in the Amarok are the same. The records might tell you there's right and left, but between a 4 and a 6 cylinder, they're exactly the same. Left and right are exactly the same, it's just the one piece. As you probably just saw then, I had to give the strut a slight pull to get it to drop between the strut and the lower control arm. And I did drop that jack back down just to allow for that extra play. As you can see, I'm using my knees a lot. You don't want to put too much tension on that brake line, or the ABS, just watch out you don't crunch that anywhere. What you don't want to do is pull the CV. You can pop it out and the bearings will go loose in the boot. You'll see me raise the jack and the lower control arm, which will bring the CV a little bit closer. I've just brought the jack up to get that CV in here. And it's helped me get that nut on there just so it won't fall off. So what I don't want to do is go full send with this. I just want to get enough that I can get this thread from that there to catch, I don't know if you can see it from here, but catch onto the output shaft of that diff. The second I've felt that catch a little, I've just stopped because I don't want to cross thread it if it's that way. But I'm just gonna rotate it around and get the next one in. This is the slushy bit with the upper control arm, because this here is a ball joint. If I just start tightening this, well, to a certain extent, that's going to start spinning. 6mm Allen key up the hooter of that, and that'll hold the ball joint still while you do it up with the spanner. And once you're done, obviously just throw a spanner over everything, make sure it's all nice and tight. Do your splines, make sure they're nice and firm. The only thing you don't want to do straight up is where the strut connects to the lower control arm. I've just put that nut on, you probably saw it before, but I'm only going to tighten that once it's back on the ground. If you drive an Amarok and you think this is munted, which it is, just keep in mind you can always, I pop the centre bit out of my rooms. If you've got the factory rooms, it's a bit harder, but I just pop that out. Here it is. That way you can see where you're lining it up, and once you've got it on that centre, you can just spin the wheel and that'll line up your holes so that can go straight in. Time to get this puppy back on the ground. Thanks for tuning in again. I know this isn't one of the fun videos, this is just the boring stuff of vehicle maintenance and repairs. Fact of life, if you're into getting off-road, camping, exploring, your car will break. You will break stuff. There's no two ways about it. Doesn't matter what sort of car you've got. Every car's got its pitfalls. Unfortunately, on an Amarok, those CV boots is one of them. So yeah, if there's anything you want to see, anything you specifically want to know about Amaroks, let me know. I'd love to do a video on it. Education's key. Vehicle maintenance is vehicle safety. So the quicker you get onto these things, the better. Anyway, throw us a like, check out my other videos, get in touch, follow us on Instagram, whatnot. Have a good one.